Customers and employers of collapsed caravan manufacturer Zone RV are waiting to hear whether they'll receive any of the money they're owed.
For years, retirees were locked out of the Class B market, crushed by inflated MSRPs, fake discounts, and dealer markups that made even the simplest vans feel untouchable. But the script has been flipped entirely in 2025. Prices are falling fast, and rigs that were once luxury-only territory are suddenly landing in a price range nobody expected. And here's what dealers hope you never figure out. This isn't kindness. This is panic, oversupply, stalled demand, floor plan interest stacking up every month. All of it forcing Class B prices lower than we've seen in nearly a decade. But here's the catch. The cheapest van on the lot isn't always the safest buy. Some of these markdowns are gold, and some hide expensive problems. So today, I'm breaking down the 5 Class B motorhomes retirees can actually trust in 2025. Let's start with number 5, Pleasureway Tofino. Some stories in the RV world begin quietly, and the Pleasureway Tofino is one of those machines that slips under the radar until you look closely at what has been happening on dealer lots. Oversupply of the Ram Pro Master 1500 chassis created a ripple that pushed this compact camper van into a new price bracket. When manufacturers build more than the market absorbs, the pressure moves downstream, and the Tofino now reflects that economic shift clearly. Real evidence of this correction showed up at a December wholesale auction, where a 2022 Tofino rolled across the lane and sold for $49,000 before fees. That single sale told the story better than any advertisement or brochure. Dealers who paid higher floor plan financing costs in previous seasons suddenly faced a unit on the books that could no longer justify its old price tag, so they lowered numbers quickly to stay competitive. The simplicity of the Tofino becomes a financial advantage when viewed over several ownership seasons. There is no built-in wet bath to maintain, no complex slide-out mechanism to adjust, and no layered electronics package waiting to fail in year 4 or year 5. The architecture relies on the ProMaster platform's straightforward structure, which lowers long-term repair exposure. When the essential parts stay simple, the bills tend to stay predictable, and that predictability matters more than glossy features. Actual listings reflect this shift, not theories. Several regional dealers in Texas, Idaho, and Michigan posted brand new Tofino units priced between $62,000 and $79,000 during late winter, marking one of the most noticeable downward adjustments for a compact RV in this segment. These reductions did not come from damage disclosures or factory defects. They came from softening demand paired with an oversupply of chassis that needed to clear holding costs before the new production cycle. For anyone stepping into a compact touring setup for the first time, the Tofino offers a balance between maneuverability and straightforward maintenance. The pop-top design delivers standing room without adding heavy mechanical hardware. The rear seating converts smoothly into a sleep surface, without relying on intricate power systems. Owners frequently mention that the interior layout remains intuitive, requiring little explanation and almost no adjustment period. These characteristics become especially helpful when managing upkeep without relying heavily on dealership service departments. Another element shaping the Tofino's current value is its underlying durability. The Ram Pro Master platform, particularly in the 1500 configuration, remains widely serviced, meaning replacement parts are accessible without special order delays. Independent mechanics across the country understand its drivetrain, reducing reliance on dealership bays. Insurance estimates for compact RVs on this chassis often come in lower than estimates for larger vans, simply because repairs tend to involve standardized components instead of proprietary assemblies unique to heavier touring conversions. The combination of lower purchase pricing and simplified internal systems positions the Tofino as a useful option during a period when many RV categories still feel inflated. It avoids unnecessary gadgetry while preserving the core functions needed for dependable travel. The absence of complex power management equipment reduces the likelihood of unexpected electrical failures. Real-world owner reports often highlight minimal annual service requirements, which aligns with the reduced financial exposure that comes from avoiding high-touch components. The market correction simply enhances these long-standing practical qualities. Its current pricing window, shaped by tangible inventory conditions rather than marketing spin, offers a practical moment for anyone who values steady performance over decorative upgrades. The streamlined layout encourages confident travel without the burden of mastering complicated systems. With oversupply still influencing dealer decisions, the Tofino stands in a rare position where the number on the windshield aligns with its mechanical honesty. As seasonal demand shifts, this alignment may tighten, but for now, it remains clear and accessible to interested travelers today. Winnebago Solis Pocket. There are moments when a shift in the market becomes visible before anyone speaks about it, and the Winnebago Solis Pocket reflects one of those moments with striking clarity. What happened to this compact RV is not a mystery hidden behind glossy advertising or cheerful sales pitches. It is written directly in dealer pricing, in auction results, and in the quiet corrections happening across the Ram ProMaster supply chain. When numbers move for real reasons, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Throughout late autumn and early winter, listings for the Solis Pocket began appearing at values well below the levels seen just 2 seasons earlier. Several dealers posted units between $92,000 and $99,000, while previous model years often pushed above $108,000. That decline did not come from a flood of returns or a mechanical scandal. It began because manufacturers produced more ProMaster-based vans than the retail environment demanded. When inventory surpasses absorption, pricing must bend, and the Solis Pocket became one of the clearest examples of that pressure. The evidence is visible even without insider documents. Screenshots from multiple dealer inventories reveal stacked incentives, one from Winnebago to loosen aging stock, and another tied to floor plan financing credits that dealers attempt to reclaim before deadlines hit. When both appear on the same listing, the meaning is unmistakable. The goal is not to create excitement. The goal is to escape carrying costs that have grown heavier with each passing quarter. Those financial mechanics create an opening that did not exist when demand was hotter. Unlike larger touring vans that rely on extensive power management systems, the Solis Pocket stays intentionally simple. It does not overload the user with fragile electronics or elaborate climate hardware. Instead, it centers on a functional interior that uses space wisely. The Murphy bed folds cleanly into the wall. The compact galley works without complication. The absence of a full wet bath reduces the long-term risk of plumbing failures that often occur after repeated seasonal use. These practical design choices become more valuable as a unit ages because fewer specialized components mean fewer expensive repairs in year 4 or year 5. The Ram ProMaster chassis beneath the Solis Pocket continues to be one of the easiest platforms to service nationwide. Independent mechanics understand its drivetrain. Replacement parts remain accessible across nearly every region, avoiding the delays that plague rigs built on more proprietary foundations. This familiarity reduces unexpected downtime and limits the chances of getting stranded waiting for unusual components. Mechanical predictability reinforces the financial advantage created by the recent price shift. Real-world owner feedback supports this picture. Many describe the Pocket as a straightforward travel companion, reliable on long routes and manageable in tight parking. Its smaller footprint avoids the penalties that larger rigs face in urban areas, and fuel consumption tends to remain within a reasonable band. These traits matter more than decorative extras, because they lower ongoing costs in ways that are easy to overlook when browsing brochures or watching sales demonstrations. The current pricing window, shaped by measurable supply conditions rather than crafted marketing language, offers an opportunity grounded in facts rather than emotion. The downward adjustments stem from how many units remain on lots, how quickly manufacturers must move new chassis, and how dealers handle their financing deadlines. These forces will continue shifting as production cycles evolve, but the Solus Pocket sits squarely in the center of that movement today. Watching how long this alignment lasts becomes just as important as noticing that it exists. As seasonal demand begins to rise, adjustments may tighten again, yet for now the signals remain visible and consistent across independent listings and verified auction data. That clarity gives anyone watching the market a steady reference point when evaluating timing, pricing, and overall long-term ownership expectations. If you want more breakdowns that cut through dealer noise and show the real numbers behind these rigs, make sure you like the video and hit subscribe. And before we continue, tell me which model has surprised you most so far. Coachman Nova is one of the clearest examples of this subtle movement, because its price correction did not come from mechanical failure or sudden backlash. It came from a realignment in supply, demand, and the used unit pipeline that finally reached a tipping point. When early van life enthusiasm cooled, a wave of lightly used Novas entered auctions, and that single change reshaped the value of every new unit still on dealer lots. Throughout late summer and early fall, listings for the Nova began appearing at values noticeably lower than what the model carried during its hotter years. Many dealers shifted their pricing into the $109,000 to $114,000 range, even though previous seasons routinely saw numbers reaching $120,000 or $130,000. That drop did not reflect a decline in build quality. It reflected a rising number of older units entering the resale ecosystem, and auction results confirmed it. Several 2021 and 2022 Novas sold in the high 80,000 to low 90,000 range at wholesale events, forcing retail pricing to adjust. The interior of the Nova holds its reputation for thoughtful design, which makes the correction even more notable. Twin beds that convert into a king, a solid wet bath with dependable water management, and a galley layout crafted for practical cooking all contribute to long-term usability. The insulation package, using dense materials that absorb temperature swings effectively, supports shoulder season travel without relying heavily on power-draining heating or cooling systems. These qualities make the Nova age more gracefully than many rigs in its segment. Underneath the conversion, the Ram Pro Master 3500 extended chassis remains one of the most serviceable foundations available. Its drivetrain remains familiar to mechanics across the country, which helps avoid the long delays that plague more complex platforms. Replacement parts for the ProMaster arrive quickly in most regions, keeping repair windows shorter and costs lower. This level of accessibility becomes increasingly important as the years pass, because specialized components often create unpredictable bills, while standardized structures promote stable maintenance patterns. As the market softened, the Nova became a rare situation where a mid-tier, comfort-focused RV suddenly entered a price range once reserved for far simpler rigs. The downward pressure did not come from owner complaints or recurring defects. It came from the simple math of supply meeting softened demand. When lightly used models sell for less, brand new units must follow, especially when competing models begin offering aggressive incentives. Dealers cannot ignore wholesale patterns, and the Nova's pricing now reflects those realities. Real owners frequently describe the Nova as a dependable travel companion, whether used for long cross-country routes or extended seasonal loops. The layout supports real living rather than short weekend hopping, and the climate system using the Truma Combi design helps maintain interior comfort with less energy expenditure. These characteristics preserve the model's relevance, even as pricing shifts downward, making the correction feel like an opportunity created by timing rather than a warning sign. The broader market context also plays a role. Overproduction in earlier years, combined with rising interest rates, pushed many shoppers into holding patterns. This hesitancy increased time on lot numbers for several models, including the Nova, leading to more flexible pricing. Dealers facing floor plan deadlines began prioritizing turnover over margin. When those conditions converge, certain rigs momentarily align price and quality in a way that stands out sharply against the backdrop of higher RV inflation. If past cycles are any indication, this level of accessibility may not last. As older inventory clears and production normalizes, the pricing gap between new and used Novas will likely tighten again. For now, though, the evidence remains steady. Auction data, dealer listings, and verified sale reports all point toward a window in which the Coachman Nova delivers more comfort and more capability at a figure that would have seemed unlikely just a short time ago. Road Trek Play. The Road Trek Play enters this conversation from a different angle, because its price correction did not emerge quietly. It surfaced in plain view as soon as dealers began posting heavily discounted listings tied to inventory that moved slower than projected. Road Trek built aggressively to regain market presence, and that production push overshot demand by a noticeable margin. When that happens, numbers shift downward quickly, and the play became one of the most transparent examples of how oversupply translates into opportunity. Real proof of this shift appeared in verified dealer sheets showing new play units marked down from $129,000 to near $107,000. Independent dealers in the Northeast even added incentives to clear space before shipments. These adjustments did not signal mechanical issues. They reflected a mismatch between production volume and real retail demand. That gap shaped the play's value window and created a moment where features once considered higher tier became accessible. One of the strongest financial advantages hidden inside the play is its electrical system. While many compact RVs require expensive upgrades after purchase, this model arrives from the factory with lithium storage, a 3,000-watt inverter, and roughly 300 watts of rooftop solar capacity. Each of these elements would normally cost thousands when installed separately. Here they are included. That inclusion reduces spending and prevents the series of upgrades that often blindsides new owners after the first season. Serviceability adds another layer to the play's appeal. Built on the Ram ProMaster 3500 extended chassis, it benefits from broad mechanical familiarity. Independent shops across the country understand the drivetrain, allowing maintenance to be handled locally. Access to commonly stocked parts shortens repair windows and reduces delays. When a rig relies on standardized components instead of niche hardware, the difference appears in both cost and the overall rhythm of travel in real-world use out every day. The interior layout of the play also supports steady use without demanding constant adjustment. The rear power sofa converts smoothly into either a pair of twin beds or a single sleeping surface, depending on the needs of the trip. The galley includes a 2-burner propane stove, a sink, a microwave, and a refrigerator sized for journeys. None of these choices rely on experimental technology. They lean on function, which reinforces the play's alignment with practical travel rather than showroom spectacle. Travelers who monitor real costs will notice how the play avoids the steepest expenses associated with heavier rigs. It carries fewer specialized components, meaning fewer opportunities for service departments to apply charges. The propane furnace and rooftop air conditioner remain serviceable almost anywhere. The absence of complex slide mechanisms eliminates entire categories of repair. Every one of these design decisions shapes the financial experience of ownership, lowering exposure to surprise bills and creating a steadier relationship between travel and cost. Another factor influencing the play's current position is overall market timing. Production increases from earlier seasons collided with a cooling retail environment shaped by rising interest rates and more cautious financing approvals. As demand softened, dealers faced tougher decisions about which units to prioritize. Models with included electrical capability gained attention because they removed the need for costly packages. This created a subtle shift where rigs with strong standard equipment offered clearer value than those relying on optional upgrades today. As seasonal interest begins to rise, the play remains positioned as a model where timing and equipment intersect. Its blend of straightforward mechanics, included power infrastructure, and corrected pricing forms a combination not often found in RVs. Auction data, dealer listings, and reports reveal alignment rather than contradiction. That alignment may narrow as production cycles adjust and inventory levels change, yet in this moment, the evidence remains clear. The Road Trek play stands in a window defined by facts, not promises. If you rely on clear information to avoid bad timing and overpriced rigs, now is the moment to subscribe. Every new video reveals shifts happening before they hit the lots, giving you the insight to stay ahead instead of behind. Thor Rise 18. When a market correction becomes too large to hide, it usually shows up first in the simplest models, and the Thor Rise 18T is the clearest example of that shift in the compact RV category. Its pricing did not soften because of failure. disappointment, or design flaws. It softened because production moved faster than demand, and dealers found themselves holding more units than the retail environment could absorb. When floor plan deadlines approach and interest charges stack, prices begin to bend, and the most affordable platforms often reveal the pressure earliest. Throughout the past several months, dealer listings across multiple regions have shown brand new Rise 18T units landing between $87,000 and $94,000. Just 2 model cycles earlier, this same platform often pushed beyond $104,000 or $112,000. That gap is not noise. It is the direct result of oversupply, and it becomes even clearer when lightly used units appear in the mid-$70,000 range. Wholesale auctions confirm these patterns with verified sales that match the declining retail figures, proving the shift is structural, not promotional. What makes this model's positioning so distinct is how its features intersect with its corrected pricing. The Rise 18T includes a real wet bath, a rarity at this end of the price spectrum. Most lower-cost touring vans eliminate that feature entirely or rely on makeshift solutions that limit comfort during extended travel. Here, the shower and toilet are part of the standard layout, not accessories added later, and that inclusion changes the cost equation over years of use. It reduces reliance on campground facilities, limits daily expenses, and preserves independence on long routes without pushing the price beyond reach. Simplicity is another advantage. The ProMaster 1500 chassis remains one of the most widely serviced platforms in the United States, and its parts arrive quickly through mainstream channels. Independent mechanics understand the drivetrain thoroughly, which means ownership does not require constant visits to branded service centers. When a rig avoids exotic components, long-term maintenance becomes more predictable, and predictable upkeep often saves more money than a low purchase price alone. Inside the Rise 18T, the layout emphasizes function rather than spectacle. The rear sleeping and seating arrangement converts without requiring complex electrical mechanisms. The galley offers practical space for cooking, with a refrigerator sized for real trips rather than showroom demonstrations. The system's monitor panels remain simple enough to learn quickly, reducing the frustration that often follows rigs overloaded with touchscreen controls. These traits reinforce the idea that the Rise 18T respects usability over novelty, creating a steadier ownership experience. The electrical configuration supports modest off-grid travel without extensive aftermarket work. Many units include solar capability from the factory, with inverters sized to power essential appliances. This avoids the common trap, where new owners discover that entry-level pricing hides the cost of mandatory upgrades. With this model, the fundamentals are already in place. Market timing deepens the opportunity. Rising interest rates slowed financing approvals, which softened demand. Dealers carrying unsold inventory faced mounting costs, and discounted pricing became a financial necessity rather than a marketing tactic. That environment aligns with the Rise 18T's strengths: straightforward construction, useful features, and lower long-term operating costs as inventory levels eventually balance. This opening may narrow, but right now, the pricing, the proof, and the patterns remain aligned, revealing a moment when a well-equipped compact RV sits in reach in a way it has not before. The Thor Rise 18T holds that position with clarity, shaped by real numbers rather than hopeful claims. This window will not last forever, and understanding the forces shaping it helps ensure timing stays on your side when evaluating options. And that wraps up the 5 Class Bs retirees can trust in 2025. Prices are shifting fast, and this window won't stay open for long. If this breakdown helped you, hit like, drop a comment with the model you're watching, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next market update. Smart timing makes all the difference. I'll see you in the next one.